Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive.
Mhm.
This time we're tackling a topic I bet some of you might find a little surprising, well, maybe even counterintuitive.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, so given how much our listeners love tech and finding those efficiency hacks,
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
it's all about handwriting.
Back to basics, huh?
Exactly. We've got some really fascinating research pulled from, let me see, it was called, oh yeah, The Power of Handwriting in a Digital World.
Catchy title.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
But it really gets at what we're going to be digging into today, not just the how-tos of handwriting, which I'm sure many of you already know, but the WHY.
The WHY, I like that.
Like what's actually happening in our brains when we write things out by hand? How does it impact our learning, our emotions even? Ready to dive in?
Absolutely, let's do it.
Okay, so to kick things off, I gotta ask, is handwriting truly just like a thing of the past?
That's where it gets interesting, right? It'd be easy to dismiss it as, old-fashioned.
Right.
But here's the thing. Writing by hand actually engages our brains in ways that just typing on a keyboard, on our phones, whatever, can't replicate.
So you're saying there's something unique about that physical act of putting pen to paper?
Exactly. It's not just about getting those letters down. There's a
Yeah.
whole intricate process going on that involves motor skills, memory, heck, even a touch of creativity gets thrown in the mix.
So almost like a full brain workout then.
Perfect analogy. It's like cross-training for your brain, building those neural connections that typing just doesn't quite hit.
And we actually have research backing this up.
Oh, absolutely. There was this study. Let me see if I can remember. Yes. University of Stavanger, they found that students who mainly wrote digitally, for just 1 year, their handwriting skills dropped by a whopping 40%.
Whoa, 40%. That's massive. Makes you wonder what happens to our handwriting if we're almost exclusively digital these days.
Right. And it's not just about, whether our handwriting looks fancy or not.
It's like something deeper is being impacted.
Exactly. If the skill itself is diminishing, think about what that means for all those underlying brain processes we just talked about.
Okay, so we're talking about more than just pretty letters on a page. This could actually impact our ability to learn and process information as a whole.
You got it. Handwriting isn't just about transcribing stuff. It's about actively engaging with whatever it is you're trying to learn or process.
Interesting.
When you write by hand, you're forced to slow down, to think about each individual word, to really make decisions about how your thoughts are getting structured on that page.
I never thought of it that way.
And that deeper level of engagement, it can lead to so many positive things. Better comprehension, better recall, even better idea generation, you name it.
This is really making me rethink how I take notes, especially during meetings. Maybe ditching the laptop and going old school with pen and paper might be a good experiment.
Could be a game changer.
But how does handwriting, which on the surface seems, well, pretty simple,
Yeah, I know, right?
how does that actually make us think more clearly? It's not immediately obvious.
Okay, think of it this way. When you're typing, it's almost like automatic, right? Fingers flying over the keyboard, words just appearing on the screen effortlessly.
Yeah, that's definitely my typing style, speed demon.
But handwriting, it's different. You're physically shaping each letter. You're feeling the pen glide across the paper. There's that tactile element.
Oh, so that physical connection is what makes the difference.
That's part of it, yeah.
Yeah.
It forces you to slow down, be more deliberate, engage with the content on a deeper level.
Kind of like the difference between passively watching a movie and actively being part of a conversation.
Right. You're present, invested, really in the moment.
And that engagement, that's what impacts our thinking.
You bet. It has these ripple effects throughout your whole thought process, strengthening working memory, increasing focus, even boosting creativity, because now you're playing with ideas in a different way, experimenting with how to express yourself on the page. It's pretty powerful stuff when you break it all down.
Yeah, powerful indeed.
It really is amazing, right? How these, I guess you could say, little things.
Yeah, like just choosing pen and paper over a keyboard.
Exactly. How they can have these huge key effects on, well, everything from how we think to, and this is where things get really cool,
Ooh, lay it on me.
our emotions.
Now, that's interesting. The source material we've been looking at, it did touch on that, like how handwriting can actually be enjoyable, therapeutic even.
It's true.
But how, I mean, I don't usually think of like sitting down to write an essay as being this relaxing activity.
Right. You'd think it'd be the opposite.
For sure.
Well, there's a ton of research now that links handwriting to, get this, mindfulness.
Wait, really? Like meditation?
It's crazy, right? But think about it. The focus it takes to form each letter, The way your pen moves almost rhythmically across the page, even that tactile feeling, the feedback you get from the paper.
Yeah, I guess I can see it.
It all comes together to create this sense of calm, this being in the moment feeling.
Wow, like a mini meditation session every time I pick up a pen.
Kind of. It's all about shifting your focus from the outcome, like, oh, I got to finish this paper,
Yeah, that's usually where my mind's at.
to the process itself, just enjoying the act of writing.
Makes sense. And in our world where everything's go, 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 always connected,
Ugh, tell me about it.
finding those pockets of calm, being able to just disconnect and reconnect with yourself,
Exactly.
that's got to be beneficial.
Hugely beneficial. Handwriting, in a way, is like this little haven from all the digital noise constantly bombarding us.
Yeah, I like that. A haven.
It lets you slow down, breathe, just be.
Be present. Yeah.
And that does wonders for both your mind and body.
You know, I bet you're even more productive after, like, a good handwriting session.
Oh, for sure. When your mind's clear, you can get so much more done.
Speaking of the digital world, though, I remember the source we were looking at, it mentioned this, I think they called it a global handwriting crisis.
Yeah, a little dramatic sounding maybe?
Yeah, for sure. But is handwriting really in that much trouble?
Okay, it's complicated, right?
Yeah.
But the truth is technology. It's definitely had an impact on, well, just how much we write by hand these days.
Can't argue with that.
And there was this study, I think it was done in France, found that something like 10% of adults,
10%.
wow, and that includes young adults too, they struggle with basic writing skills.
Yikes. That's concerning.
It is. And this decline, it's happening all over the globe, which is why people are calling it a crisis.
But it's more than just, like, not being able to write neatly. Right?
Exactly. It goes way deeper than that. It's about all those cognitive processes that writing involves, the ability to express yourself clearly, organize your thoughts, everything we've been talking about.
We're losing that.
To some extent, yes, which is the worrying part.
I did read somewhere that, like, younger generations especially, they're having trouble with more formal writing, essays, letters, that kind of thing.
Makes sense.
Could that be a direct result of, well, this whole handwriting decline?
I'd say it's definitely playing a role.
Makes you wonder, are we trading, like, these essential communication skills for the sake of convenience? Just being able to type things out quickly on our phones.
That's the big question, isn't it? Have we gotten too accustomed to the speed, the efficiency of digital communication?
Yeah, that we're overlooking those, I don't know, slower, more thoughtful ways of expressing ourselves.
That's exactly what handwriting encourages us to do. Think critically, choose our words carefully, really craft our message with intention.
So it's almost like quality over quantity, making each word count.
Love that, yeah. And that's a good reminder for all of us, not just the younger folks.
For sure. But okay, gotta be honest here. In my super busy schedule, finding time to actually sit down and write things out by hand.
Yeah, can feel like a luxury.
Totally. So is it really that important? Like, do we need to be making time for this?
Here's the thing. You don't need hours and hours. Even small amounts of handwriting can have a positive impact.
Oh, that's good to hear.
The trick is to, integrate it into your routine in a way that feels, natural.
Okay, so not like this big chore I gotta add to my to-do list.
Exactly. More like, how can you weave it into the things you're already doing?
Love that. So for someone like me, always looking for those efficiency hacks, always trying to learn new things,
I hear you go.
what are some practical ways I could bring handwriting into my daily life?
Okay, so you're all about efficiency, right?
Yeah.
What about taking meeting notes by hand?
Interesting.
Not only will that, boost your focus during the meeting itself.
Because I'm actually having to, think about what I'm writing down.
Exactly. But then going back and reviewing those notes, organizing them.
It forces you to engage with the material again.
You got it. And that helps solidify everything in your memory.
That's a great tip. I've noticed, when I'm typing notes, my mind tends to wander.
Happens to the best of us.
Maybe going analog will keep me more present.
Worth a try.
What else? Any other handwriting hacks?
Ooh, how about journaling? But not just Dear Diary stuff. Use it for brainstorming, problem solving, anything where you need to get your thoughts out.
A thinking journal.
Yeah. Sometimes just the act of writing things down helps you see them more clearly, make connections you wouldn't have otherwise.
That's true.
Oh, and don't underestimate the power of good old-fashioned handwritten notes, letters.
Like snail mail?
Yep. In a world that's all emails and texts.
Yeah, digital overload.
Getting something handwritten just stands out, shows that you put thought and effort into it.
Like you actually care. Yeah.
Exactly.
All these benefits we've been talking about, it makes that statistic from earlier, the one about 10% of adults in France struggling with basic writing skills.
Oh, yeah.
It really hits home, doesn't it? Like this handwriting decline.
It's not just some abstract thing.
Exactly.
It's a real issue. And like we said, it's not just about, fancy penmanship or anything.
Right, it's deeper than that.
It's about all the things handwriting represents: clear communication, organized thoughts, cognitive development, the whole shebang.
So where does that leave us? Like, are we headed towards a world where handwriting's this, I don't know, niche skill? Something only, like, calligraphers and artists do?
It's hard to say for sure, right?
Yeah.
The future's always a bit fuzzy.
Yeah, true.
But it's a question worth pondering, for sure.
Hmm.
If we keep going down this path, becoming more and more reliant on digital everything, neglecting handwriting,
What happens then?
we risk losing something really valuable. Not just a skill, but this fundamental part of, well, being human.
Wow, that's pretty profound when you put it that way.
It's true, though. Think
Wow.
about it. Handwriting connects us to our thoughts, our emotions, even to each other in a way that's different from, like, typing an email.
It's more personal, more deliberate, yeah.
Exactly. And it's something we've been doing for centuries.
It's like this ancient technology we're losing touch with.
In a way, yeah.
It makes me think back to that study, the one from the University of Stavanger.
The one about handwriting skills dropping by 40%.
Yeah, that one makes me wonder if we're at like a tipping point, trading these long-term cognitive benefits for the convenience of digital communication.
It's a trade-off we got to be mindful of, that's for sure.
So technology is amazing, don't get me wrong, but
It's about balance, right?
yeah.
Using these tools to enhance our lives, not replace essential skills.
skills like handwriting.
Exactly.
Mhm.
It's what makes us human, what lets us connect with ourselves and the world in this, well, unique way.
This has been an incredible deep dive, I have to say.
Me too. It's been fascinating.
It's clear that handwriting is so much more than just, putting letters on a page.
Way more. It's a tool for learning, for thinking, for well-being. The list goes on.
And it's a tool worth preserving, even reviving in our, I guess you could say, increasingly digital world.
Couldn't agree more. The benefits are too good to ignore.
So for our listeners who are now, like, fired up about handwriting.
Ready to pick up a pen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your final piece of advice? How do we make this a part of our lives?
Start small. That's key. Don't try to overhaul everything at once.
Okay, small steps.
And make it enjoyable. Find ways to weave handwriting into your routine that feel, good, that make sense for you.
So, like, jotting down notes, writing in a journal, maybe even sending a handwritten letter to a friend.
All great ideas.
Mm.
It's about embracing the process, savoring that feeling of pen on paper, rediscovering the joy of, well, just putting your thoughts out into the world.
Beautifully said. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the world of handwriting.
Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
We hope you've all gained a new appreciation for this often overlooked skill. And remember, even in our tech-driven world, there's still magic to be found in the simple act of putting pen to paper.
Couldn't agree more.
So until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and most importantly, keep writing.